Good morning. Let me go live. Today, I actually have my phone with me, so let me go and find you guys on my phone. There we go. Oops. All right. Cool. It is so funny. Yesterday, when I forgot to bring my phone into the office because I was dashing around and doing things, I felt like I'd left my limb in the other room. Isn't it amazing how we've gotten so attached to our electronic devices? Because one day I was going with my sister and my brother-in-law somewhere, and they stopped and picked me up because it was on the way. And I get in the car, and we got a little ways down the road when I decided to grab my phone to do something and realized I'd left it at home. I was so freaked out about it that I had my sister text my daughter, let her know I'd left my phone at home so she wouldn't worry if she reached out. And if she needed me, she could reach out to her. And it was like this appendage. And it makes me think of when I was a young girl so many years ago. Um, when we walked out of the house, there was no communication unless you had some money in your pocket and you stopped. Good morning, Wendy, and you stopped at a payphone. There was no way, and then that person had to be home. And so it's so strange now when I look at how connected we are on the phone. And like yesterday, when I was at my sister's house for the cookout, one of the things that was I thought was interesting was my nephew. He's an adult and everything, and he's married, and they were coming to the cookout and they were late. And so my sister was able to look at her phone and see where he was at. And and I know that technology is there. I don't use it. However, just think about it. There was a time when we would leave our house and nobody knew where the hell we were, right? So good morning, Wendy. Ooh, it's the windy day, right? So, but the thing that really is amazing about it is the more connected we get with those things, it seems like the less connected we in person, the less connected because and there was a couple of times yesterday that even though we were all together in the cookout, there was a few people that would have their phone out. I was one of them a couple of times because my daughter was at work, and so it was like I would check my phone occasionally. But how many times have you been to a restaurant or something? And has nothing to do with our topic today, but it's on my mind. How many times have you been to like a restaurant and you look at some of the other tables and it's like there's a group of people sitting together, but they're all on their phones. And so there's no eye contact, maybe they do once they actually start the meal, but used to, you either sat there in stone cold silence, which was uncomfortable, or you had a friggin' conversation, right? And so it is so easy now to let our phones distract us from one another. And so I really feel like almost when you go into a restaurant, they should have this little container over there. Well, while you're here eating, kind of like you do at school, go ahead and put your phone in here. We really want you guys to connect. Of course, people probably wouldn't do it, but isn't it funny to think about that, right? Yeah, see a table and no one is talking, everyone on the phone. And there was one time it was when my daughter was really young. Maybe she was in middle school, high school, I don't know. But anyway, a bunch of us went out together, and a lot of the kids and everything. And the funny thing was they were on their phones, but they were texting each other. And part of it was that they probably didn't want the adults at the table to hear their conversation, but still think about it. I mean, isn't that bizarre to need no phone policy? Yes. But it's just really strange that we've gotten so attached to them. Like I was saying, when I left the house without my phone, and when I showed up yesterday without my phone, so that I could pull this up and actually see what you're saying. Because yesterday I had no clue if there was anybody at all on Facebook, because Facebook was showing me nothing on my computer. But that's what it does a lot of times. I don't know why my nose is itching. Um, but the thing is that some of the times I can look at the Facebook and it'll show it, but a lot of the times on the computer it shows zero. Nobody's watching, nobody's there. And that's so why a couple of times I said, if I'm not acknowledging you, it's not that I don't appreciate you being here. It's just I can't see because it was giving me nothing. So that's why I love having my phone set up right there so that I can see if people actually are coming in. And like I said, a lot of times, like now today that I have my phone here, it is actually showing. But yesterday it showed zero people there the entire time I was on, no comments or anything until I got off and I looked and thought, oh, there were people here. Yesterday there were people that showed up on Instagram and I could see them. And so, and just to let you know, if you don't say hello, sometimes I don't know. So go ahead, and if you're on Instagram or YouTube, just pop in and say hello. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and we can just have more fun conversing together when I can see that you're there. It was there. I was there. It was frustrating. Yeah, and I'm so sorry. But like I said, I was fixing potato salad, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's already time. And I dashed up here and I had left my phone down there in the kitchen. And I felt kind of even more strange to get up and leave a blank live here and go grab my phone and come back. So I just felt like I would just endure. And for one thing, I thought sometimes it shows up on my computer and maybe it would show up, but it did not. So I appreciated you being there. I will say, even though I didn't see it. My daughter made me a matcha tea this morning, so I'm drinking my matcha. Of course, I've got my handy dandy cup of coffee too. All right. So you ready to go for this affirmation for today? And how many of you got to see fireworks last night? Oh, let's see what I need to do here. Hold on. All right, let me pop on here. Let me add this. Let's see if we can. Oh, on TV. Okay. Well, it's funny. I went to the cookout yesterday, and then when my daughter and I got home, we were doing our thing, and then I was in the office answering some emails, and all of a sudden I could hear the fireworks all over the place, right? And that's when I was really contemplating some things and wrote a post and put it up. And then on the 3rd. Oh, okay. There's an area not too far from me that they do them on the 3rd instead of on the 4th, but I didn't go. But a lot of times my daughter and I will get in the car, we'll go find some fireworks. And of course, sometimes, you have to go through lots of lines and find a place to park. And, and it can be quite the headache the journey to it is not as pleasant as you would like, I guess you'd say. But last night I was hearing all those fireworks and it sounded like they were really close. So I went to my daughter was downstairs. And I went down and I said, do you want to go watch the fireworks? I can hear them right outside. She said, no, I'm good. I said, okay. So I walked out on my porch and I could see that there was a neighbor just right down from me that was doing some fireworks. And they were beautiful, but some of the trees were blocking it. But I decided I would just stand there because I just didn't want to walk down the street a little bit. It was dark and I was by myself and, my daughter ended up coming outside and I said, well, we can see them from here, but do you don't want to walk closer? She said, yeah. So we walked down and we ended up sitting in the grass, not too far from their house and watched the fireworks. Some amazing ones. They had one of them. I saw them. put out this big box, and man, it was like the finale kind of thing. They popped that, and man, those fireworks were going everywhere, and it just kept going and going and going and going. And it was gorgeous. So we sat there as long as we could till we saw them cleaning up. And then it was like, then we came on back to the house. So it was nice. And we didn't have to look for a parking place. We didn't have to sit through traffic. We didn't have to do any of that. One of the fun ones that we did many years ago was Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta. They had fireworks, but when we got there, they had a capacity because it's like an outside venue, but they had inside the gates, they had capacity of all the people that they could have in there. And it was like, what? I didn't know that was possible. But anyway, they turned us away. So we walked around a little bit and we found on a street, there were people that were already setting up and there was this wall. So we got up on this wall and we sat and we watched the fireworks. And I think the view was probably even better than inside. And then when we got back to our car, there were people that, because there was just a multitude of cars and no rhyme or reason in the way they were parked, I'll tell you. It wasn't a parking lot. It was just this area where you could park. And so people ended up putting on music, getting on the back of their trucks and dancing, and people were just out socializing because you couldn't move, right? You were just there. And that was so much fun. And I haven't thought about that in a very long time till I just got on here, but it was a lot of fun. And that one, the journey and the exit felt fun in itself, not just the fireworks, it was the whole thing. Resonance. And I kind of felt like, even though it wasn't the same thing last night, the walking and sitting down, and you could hear all the nighttime sounds, and it was just so peaceful, other than the fireworks, but it was glorious. I loved it. And maybe it's because I did a little bit of that inner reflection before we ever went out, because that's when I posted that post last night on my page. And then that's when I started listening to the fireworks a little bit more and realized they're just right there. Let me go see. But yeah, it was beautiful. Let's see. We have 3 cities together. Each one does them on a different day. Okay. Nice. Heard people outside. Yeah. There was a lot of activity going on. And for those that don't know, my dog that I dearly, dearly loved, he passed away a few years ago. And very anxious, and he'd want to sit with me and stuff if the fireworks were going on. I mean, he didn't bark and cry or anything, but you could tell he was anxious. Now I had, and the cats were like, they would go to the window and they would look and then they would go and hide. So it was like they were curious and then afraid a lot, right? And don't we do that in our real life too? We'd be really curious about something that we want to do, and how do we do that? And then we get really scared. What if I can't do it? And then we just abandon post, right? So, that we sometimes act like cats too, right? All right. So let me grab the affirmation and the journal prompt. All right. Give me just a second. Let's see what's going on over here. All right. So give me a second. It takes me a minute to do all this copying and pasting because I have it saved somewhere and then I have to put it over here. All right, you ready? All right, our affirmation is, I'm a rock star in my own life and I can conquer anything that comes my way. So how do you feel about that one? Let's see, what does this say? From here, if you make the effort, you can probably see 8 to 10 displays. Wow. I love seeing the fireworks over the ocean. Or over any body of water. We used to, sometimes we would go, there would be fireworks on a lake not far from us where I used to live. and we would go out and we would watch the fireworks. And I went to when I was in Clearwater one time on the 4th of July, and we were able to get right there at the beach and watch the fireworks. And it's beautiful the way it reflects on the water. And I mean, it just enhances the experience tremendously. So I loved that. All right. So how do you feel about being a rock star? Come on, share with me. When I make this statement, I'm a rock star in my own life and I can conquer anything that comes my way. Let's just look at the first part. I'm a rock star in my own life. Do you feel that that's true? Are you? What say ye? I've been watching too many legal shows, I think. Come on, chime in over here on Instagram. Let me know. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like you're a rock star in your own life? And I'll be honest, sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. I go back and forth. I try to feel that way most of the time. Well, try is not the right word. I choose to feel that way so many times, even when in the moment I don't. It's a mindset thing, right? Ah, yes, Wendy. Wendy Unger. I am a rock star. Beautiful, beautiful. So Wendy Levy, what do you say? Do you feel like you're a rock star in your own life? And Blackbird of Light and Mystic Mind Coaching. What say you? Do you feel like you're a rock star in your own life? Over here on Instagram, I can pop back and forth every now and then, but I can't. Sometimes it doesn't populate. So if I don't see your answer, then no, I don't. Wish I did though. Well, there's a way to begin, and this is a beginning. Okay. But it's a process. We don't start out, well, when we're little kids, we think we're a rock star, right? We think we're anything that we want to be in the moment. We can imagine it and feel it as if we're there, right? And so today we're going to dip into our rock star, okay? And when you're a rock star of your own life, you can conquer anything that comes your way. And so if you're like Wendy and Levy and you don't really believe that, but you really, really want to, then it all comes down to the beginning of making that happen is being open to it being a possibility, right? And because most of the time, if we're not feeling that way, it's because we have so many limiting beliefs. And one of them is that I'm not good enough. Typically. Now, I'm not saying that's you, Wendy Levy, and I'm not saying that's anybody else, but that's the typical thing that shows up for most people is that I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to be the rock star. And sometimes it's that we have this impression that if someone is like, let's say we've seen someone online that is rude and they may be a rock star as far as they're really high up in the level of whatever it is that they're talking about. But maybe they're not nice. Maybe however they do their stuff doesn't feel good to you. And then you start thinking, well, if I become a rock star in my own life, if I become this person of influence, I'll be just like that. And I don't want to be that way. That's what holds us back a lot of times is we compare what somebody else is doing and think that if we become at that level, then we're going to act the same way. I worked with this one girl that one of the things that held her back was that she wanted to be confident. However, the thing that came up for her is that a lot of the people that she knew that were confident were just friggin' arrogant and they were holier than thou. That's not the right word. They felt like they were above people. They acted like that because they were so big, everybody else was a lowly person. And so she resisted becoming confident because she didn't want to act like that person, right? We have to be our best selves. Yeah. Back to the fireworks. Let me get over here. The project we won recognition for was All American Weekend, a plethora of events all over the city, including the Beach Boys and the Symphony Live with the fireworks, a carnival. It was amazing. Oh, wow. That was this year? That was yesterday? Wow. Beautiful. Well, call me impressed or color me impressed. Isn't that the right one? Color me impressed. Let's see what we got going on here. So let's look at when you think about being a rock star, even though you said that you wish you did, though, and you're not, what is it that being a rock star in your own life, what is there anything that pops up that says, I really want that, but if I do that, then this will happen? Oh, no, in the 80s. Oh, okay, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's quite the impressive thing there. I'm proud of you. I didn't know you then, but I'm still proud of you. All right. So, Wendy Levy, not to keep the focus on you, but I just want to ask, is there anything that comes up when you think about being a rock star in your life, even though you want to be? Is there some thought that comes up? And now you don't have to answer. You can just say yes and leave it at that. You don't have to tell what it is if you don't want to. But I'm curious because, like I said, I've had many clients that it was their belief about how it would change them, or how other people would perceive them, that held them back sometimes too. So it's not always, I don't believe I deserve. Yes. Okay. All right. So that explains a lot. So just kind of today, maybe think about that some, how that might be showing up in other places too and holding you back. So now just journal as much, not being good enough. Yes, that was me for such a long time. And I will say there are times that will kind of trickle in a little bit every now and then too, because it's something that if you were believing that for a very long time, it's not something that you just kind of pop and it's gone, and you never have any little niggling things. Like even through hypnosis, you can have times that you eradicate that belief and you can put in a new belief. But your subconscious sometimes can come in and say, well, wait a minute, I remember when you believed that. Let's just play and see if that's still true. And so it's almost like it'll test you sometimes. And so even after you've gotten over this and you've changed, so the beauty of that is it helps you to recognize how far you've come. And then you can actually see that how quick you notice it, I guess, is the thing. And then it doesn't take over, right? So we should talk again, Weavy. I was putting your first and your last name together. Oh my gosh. Wendy Levy, we should talk again. I'm telling you. Oh, that's too funny. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the journal prompt. All right. So our journal prompt is, if you were the hero in your own epic adventure, what amazing qualities would make you the ultimate champion? And so today, even though you don't believe that is you, Wendy Levy, still do this part. And that way you can explore some things and just use your imagination. If you were to show up, you were so believing of your deservedness. You knew it in your heart that you deserved the best of everything. And you knew that you were your own rock star and that you could conquer anything that comes your way. Just imagine that for a moment. And then in that imaginative place, you are the hero of your own epic adventure, right? So, what qualities would make you so amazing, right? So, just brain dump as much as you can about these qualities that in your imagination, and that goes for everybody, even if you feel like you're a rock star, maybe you're a rock star that's on this level and you'd really like to be one that's on this level. What are the qualities that you would have that would make you that, right? That would make you that champion that gets to the level that you really want to be. Because, as we grow and we become who we want to be, we're always leveling up. We're always learning new things. And then, it's like you can't see over the hill until you get to the top of the hill. And when you get to the top of the hill, you realize, oh, man, there's this new level that I would really love to reach, because by reaching there, I can help so many more people. I can become even more of who I want to be. And so each time you level up, and it's a good thing, it's not a bad thing, right? Take chances, not worry about what others think of new ways to do things. All right, so expand on those, right? So see if you can find out places in your life that maybe you have had those qualities, and it could be from when you were really young. Oh yes, you could help a lot of people, I'm telling you. So just think about it, okay? So those qualities that you just listed, not worrying about what other people think, taking chances, and think of new ways to do things, right? So you've got the list of 3 things, and now go back to times in your life where those things were part of your life. And it doesn't matter if it's when you were really little. It doesn't matter if it was last week or 6 years ago or 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. Find one of those events and then just kind of describe, and get your notebook out, your journal out, and just describe, what did those feel like? And they don't have to all be at the same place. It's like, if you can remember a time in your life, maybe you were 15, I'm just throwing things out there, and you were open to taking chances, right? Then and if things worked out good, then write about that. And then if when you were 5, you didn't care what others think, and you just played and you did whatever the hell you wanted to, write about that. And then if maybe you were 20 and you could think of new ways to do things and things just worked, write about that. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be all in one time, right? But if you can bring those back up in your memory banks and write about those, it proves that even though it might not have been yesterday, that you have that capability. If you can do it once as you're growing up, as you're becoming you, then you can do it again. And it's just tweaking those inner beliefs a little bit to make that happen. And so it's a beautiful thing. And this is how you begin to open yourself up to finding that within you and believing that you can be this rock star in your own life, and that you can conquer anything that comes your way, because you can. And it's not to say you all the time. Sometimes you can do it all by yourself. Sometimes you need a little help. So it is getting the help when you need it, reaching out to someone, a friend that you have, or someone that's a coach. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's me, but if you want to reach out to me, I'm great with that, right? The thing is that we can do so many things. And as we get more and more in tune to who we are, the opportunities and the people to help you along the way just start showing up. I am blown away every single day with the amount of synchronicities that show up in my life. And it's mind-boggling. And I say it all the time that my life changed drastically when I started my podcast with Stacy's workshop, right? And There have been so many places along the way that I've met amazing people with my podcast. I've met amazing people in the groups that I am in, and I've met amazing people just going out and just being, right? But it's because I am open to it. And not to say I am every second of every day, right? I mean, I'm human. I don't ever profess that I'm perfect at any of this, but I have been studying it and really, really honing in on the craft within me. And I can share that out with you. And so don't ever think I'm saying that I've got this mastered and I never have a negative thought in my life. I never drop down into the rabbit hole of despair or think, why me? Right? That happens. It's just my ability from all the studies and everything that I've done and I've learned and I've grown. I don't stay there, but just a second. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but I am so quick now of bringing myself out of it. And that's the gift I want you to have too, because as human beings, we're going to do that. And it's like you can't appreciate the day, the sunshine, unless you have the night to see the comparison, right? And so there is no place in the world that it's a level keel and somebody is the same all the time. And wouldn't that be the boringest shit you've ever dealt with? There was a movie, and I can't even remember what it was, many, many years ago, and it was one of those where these people were actually, it's almost like they were popped into a movie screen or something. I don't even remember, but it was like everything was black and white. Everything was perfect. Everybody was kind. Everybody was this. And, there was no angst. There was nothing. And people got, once they were woken up to the fact that it was almost like it was a simulation, you're just there, they actually were bored and come to find out that people wanted to feel things more. They didn't want to always be the same. So if you look at someone that maybe has depression and things like that, and they take some of the medicines, some of the medicines make them to where they don't get depressed, but they don't get happy either. Now, that would not be good, right? That's not fun. We want to be on this emotional thing, just we don't want it to be woof, woof. We want it to be where we can enjoy life, right? We get excited. We might have a little angst. We get excited. We have fun. We might have a little fear. We get excited. We have fun. It's like we laugh, we enjoy, right? Wouldn't it be horrible to just think that this emotion that you have right this second is all you ever get? So I want you to embrace the fact that there is this ebb and flow in all of this, and that just by having that ebb and flow, you can create an amazing, amazing adventure for your life, right? So let me get back to the affirmation. I'm trying to watch the time. All right. So the affirmation, I'm a rock star in my own life and I can conquer anything that comes my way. So today, whether you believe this or not, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Write it on your sticky note, your index card, your screensaver on your phone. Put it somewhere that you're going to see it today. And then let's talk about this. Pretend just for today, that in your imagination, you bring up this space where you believe in your imagination that you're a rock star in your own life and that you can conquer anything that comes your way. Just for today, just pretend. So like Wendy Levy put down the qualities, that the three qualities that she would have if she believed that, if that was her. And so I ask you to do the same thing. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, and put hashtag replay by the way. But just pretend that those are your qualities and just show up today like that, right? What would your posture be? And I talk about this a lot because the way our body can actually change our mental state and blah, 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 physiology changes, right? Because you smile, you can't be, if you're genuinely smiling, you can't be thinking really bad things because you automatically, your face is going to contort to the emotion that you're thinking about. And so smile. And so as you walk through the door today, any door that you walk through, stand up a little bit taller, put a smile on your face. And in that moment, as soon as you start walking through, recite the three qualities that you have. Just say it. I am. So what were those qualities? Let me look back. Let's see. What? Where did they go? Oh man, I don't know. Where are they? Okay. So let's just say that you have this thing, the same thing that Wendy said here, and you put a smile on your face, you stand up straight, and just as you start to walk through a door frame, you say, I take chances. I never worry about what others think. And I'm always thinking of new ways to do things. And then you go through the door. And so you're taking ownership of those qualities as if they're true, because remember, our subconscious mind does not know the difference. So if you spend today utilizing that phrasing every time you walk through a door, now it may slow your journey down, but who gives a shit, right? It may slow you down, but it's so powerful. Every time you say that today, your subconscious mind is going to say, wait a minute, I didn't know that was true. Let me find all the evidence. And it's going to start looking. And then when you go through with the journal prompt and you imagine times in your life that you felt those things, it's all of a sudden it's going to gather more evidence. Wow, wait a minute. Didn't remember those. She felt those before. So this must be true. And it's going to get you closer to being that person. Now, is today's affirmation and journal prompt going to solve everything? No, it's not. But it's the beginning of the process, because you can't start in the middle and you can't start at the end. You start at the beginning. And so today's the day to start right here, right now, to make this big difference in your life. So let me go. And so, like I said, make sure you put that on your index card, your sticky notes, your screensaver on your phone, the chalk marker on your mirror, anywhere. If you need to, get a little sticky note, put it on every door frame you have. If you're at home and you're going to be walking through the house, put it there. So it's a reminder, because I want you to be triggered every time you come to a door that's when you're going to say this phrase. Because then you're going to be repeating it even more than if I said, do this 3 times a day in front of the mirror, whatever. I want you to do it as often as possible today. And just maybe before you start doing this, as you get your journal out, your notebook out, and you're doing your affirmation and your journal prompt in there, remember, put the date up there. But I want you to journal how you feel before you begin this process today. And then I want you to, at the end of the day, look back and see, go ahead and write down PM, do the AM, and then do the PM. What's showing up for you now? So it might uncover some other limiting beliefs, but then you might also find that, man, my belief level on this has really cranked up. So maybe it would be beneficial to you, like when you're doing this morning. Thank you, Wendy. But as you're doing this morning, give it a level. Your level of belief of you being this rock star in your own life, and I can conquer anything that comes my way. Give it a number from 0 to 10. Where are you in your belief? So 0 is never would I ever believe that. 10 is like, yes, I'm a friggin' rock star every day and I own this shit, right? So write down what your level is. And then tonight, after you've done this all day, and I want you to promise yourself that you're going to do this. Keep your word to yourself and make this a reality today. You don't have to do it tomorrow. Just do it today. Just an experiment to see how different you can be in the evening from having done this experiment, right? So are you guys game to try on this experiment? Let's see, what do we got going on over here? All right, so anybody ready to tackle this? It's not really a tackle. Anybody ready to own this experiment, to really, really dive into their Rockstar? I'm game. Ooh, yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful. How about over here on Instagram? I know I got some people over here watching. Any of you have any questions or you want to participate in this challenge today of, and I'll just reiterate it because I don't know how long you guys have been on here. So today we're just experimenting with putting a sticky note on your door frame. So if you're at home, it would be easier to do. But if you're at work or you're somewhere else, the trigger is anytime you walk through the door of any door, you're to stand up a little bit straighter, put a smile on your face, and say the three things that you believe you would be doing, or you qualities that you would have if you were the rock star in your own life. And so like Wendy did so eloquently added here that she would take chances, not worry about what others think, and think of new ways to do things. So the way she would rephrase this, so I'm just doing this so you guys can see the process, as that as she's gets to a door, she's going to stand up straighter. She's going to put her smile on her face and she's say, I am the person that takes chances. I don't worry about what others think about me. And I always think of new ways to do things. And then you walk through the door. You can say it as you're walking through the door, but I want that door to be the trigger in your mind that, yes, let me be exactly who I am. I just haven't let it out yet. And so hopefully you guys are on board with that too. I know the Wendy's are. The Wendy's are going to be rocking and rolling today, right? So like I tell you all the time, like I said a moment ago, get your journal out. I don't know why I keep doing the prompt. Get your journal out, your notebook out, put the date on it, put the affirmation and the journal prompt because they go together so eloquently. I think so. However, you may not, but I love this. They work together. That's the way they were created, is to be together. But your journal prompt, I want you to write it in your notebook, but before you even tackle this, take a few moments to just be in silence and allow your brain and your synchronicities, your God voice, the universe to give you that information and just let it out, right? Just let it out. And then you can come back later. But today, before that, today, underneath that, you've brain dumped these three things and describe a fun moment where each one shines. Then today, I want you to go ahead right then and there. I want you to rate your level of belief. Is your level of belief on the affirmation of you're a rock star of your own life? Is it a 0 or is it a 10? And then just put it there. And then tonight, and you can journal about your thoughts and how you feel about all this, would be beautiful. And then tonight, you're going to do it again before you go to bed. Just look at it and rate it again. How do you feel after spending the day with this experiment, changing who you are every time you walk through any door? Where is your rate of belief? Now, I don't expect it if you're at a 0, I don't expect it to be a 10. You shouldn't either, because that's a huge leap. However, it's not totally impossible, right? But I don't want you to set yourself up for angst, because that's what we do a lot of times. It's like we do such a big stretch that we know we can't do it. So it actually will reinforce the fact that we believe we can't do things. So don't do that to yourself. So what I want you to do is to say, whatever comes up is perfectly okay. If it only moves up to, if it's a 0 and it only moves up to a 1, perfect, perfect, right? Wherever it goes, it is absolutely perfect. And if it's only a 0.5, that's perfect too. It's all we need is just to move it just a touch. And you've already told your subconscious mind, you've got this. So it doesn't matter whether it's a 0.100, whatever. As long as it's not a negative 0, you're golden, right? So you've moved it. So we're only moving the needle. And depending on where you are right now is what level you're able to move. But every bit of this journey is perfect for you. And however you move, that's perfect too, right? So just remember that. So make sure you're doing that today. I'm so excited to see, let me know whether you want to put something in the group or you want to send me a private message. I would love to know how this moves your needle, whether it moves it a little bit or it moves it a lot, or if you feel like it didn't move it, just talk to me. I want to know. And so you guys on Instagram that are watching, you let me know too. You can send me a message on Instagram. You can come onto Facebook. You can join our group where we do so much in here. We've got so many delicious, wonderful things coming up. So if you want to join the group on Facebook, you go to VickiePoole.com, VickiePoole.com, and answer the questions and join the group. And oh my gosh, are you going to be blown away with the things that you can learn and grow with in here and the help this community has for one another. All right, I've got to pop off here. And I will say, as Wendy so eloquently said, rock on, people. And I will see you on the other side. Mwah. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern.